What is going on, everybody? I am back for another review on an indie game called Kraino Origins. This would have been a great Halloween type of game to play, but it came out in the spring, so Halloween has come early to us. And as with all of my reviews, I get into some info and a description, some gameplay, positives, negatives, and some final thoughts. Let's jump right in, shall we? Kraino Origins was developed by Game Atomic, or more specifically, one man by the name of Angel Durantes. It was released originally on Steam and iOS in 2022, then released on the Switch on March 28th of this year, which is what I'm playing on, which is what you're seeing on the screen, and it was published by Elden Pixels. What a dope name for a publisher, and shout out to Angel for doing this game all by himself. I know very little about game development, but what I know is that it is pretty difficult to do, and especially doing that by yourself in a game that runs and plays like this, made by one person, is just a marvel. So shout out to you, Angel Durantes, for this game. Show him all your love by downloading this game. So let's get into a description of this. It says, Kraino Origins is an action platformer with ghouls, skeletons, and other monstrosities. Take control of Kraino and run, jump, and slash your way through 8 levels plus 6 challenge levels. Defeat Bacula's horrid monster masters, each with their own weapons and abilities. Find secret areas to unlock new magical weapons. From dank sewers to creepy graveyards, Kraino Origins brings these ghastly things to life with an 8-bit retro aesthetic. It's definitely inspired by games like Metroid, Castlevania, but honestly, it's more like Castlevania because it's more linear in its level design, and the fact that your final boss is essentially Dracula. It's just a guy who's just a bat. So let's get into some gameplay. It's very easy to get the hang of as far as gameplay is concerned. You jump with B, attack with Y. There is a down attack when you jump with A, which is great for bouncing off objects and enemies. Kind of gives you a little bit of an extra jump. If you hold up with the stick and press the attack button, Kraino will spin his giant scythe and glow a little bit, and it acts as a multi-hit attack that does less damage than your standard swipe, but its main function is to deflect attacks. You'll know it if you get it right, because there is such a satisfying feeling when you do. Time will slow down just ever so slightly and reflect those attacks right back to the monster in kind of a fireball motion. There are other magical abilities like a fireball, throwing axe, spike ball. They're used by the X button and consume your blue mana bar, and they can be upgraded at the shop with various coins and gems you get from destroying enemies, candlesticks, and treasure chests. The amount of currency varies, but usually the bigger the better. You get big diamonds or small little coins, and so it just racks up your points. It's basically your points and currency. But on that note of upgrading, you can upgrade your health by grabbing soul fragments that look like a piece of a coin. After every 3, your health will increase by 1 bar. Trust me when I say you will need this, because this game is unforgiving, so the more health you have, the better, because you will die in 3 hits if you don't increase your health by a lot. But I actually kind of like the unforgiving nature of it. More on that in just a little bit. But just like other Metroidvania games, there are hidden areas. All floors and walls are lies, so make sure to slash every part of the wall on your screen. You never know what you might find. There are checkpoints that are indicated by a flaming column that you will respawn back to once you die. They are well placed, and they make it all the more crucial when you find one when you're on low health. And speaking of respawning, there's a bit of a Dark Souls element in the fact that when you die, you will leave behind a quote-unquote ghost made out of gold, and it has a money symbol. You will lose a part of your money when you die, but the only way to get it back is by getting to your ghost. And just like any Souls game, when you die before you get to it, you lose it more and you lose more money. And as stated in the description, this game has 8 levels in total and 6 challenge levels. If you want to get those upgraded magical abilities, you'll need to complete those challenge levels to get the green skulls to upgrade. Now let's get into some positives. As I said, this game is unforgiving, and at times it did frustrate me when I was so close to finishing a platform section or a boss that it would die and it looked like a cheap shot. I would just die immediately. But honestly, I kind of like that. It made me study the level or the boss attack patterns more closely so I could better beat the challenge or the boss. In fact, when I entered a boss room for the first time, I would just gather data. I would just gather data on the boss just to see how the boss attacked, how they moved, and I would die multiple times just to understand the nature of the fight. Maybe Dark Souls has influenced me more than I thought I had, because I think I'm just a glutton for punishment, learning from the pain, so to speak. Aesthetically, Kraino Origins looks fantastic, giving off that retro pixel look that is reminiscent of the old days of gaming. Kraino himself looks great, but there are also some boss designs that I enjoyed, like Dr. Bacula. The music fit a lot with the theme, and each new level having a different main melody. I love the variety of ways to hurt your enemies by the various abilities. The scythe is just so cool. It's really big and really beefy, and it's fun. It's just a good time. My favorite was the fireball, the magical abilities, because it was more accurate. There's actually not much to say as far as negatives are concerned, in my opinion, because there's not a whole lot that was bad to me. I was thinking that maybe the difficulty of this game would be part of this section, but after thinking about it more, I realized that I kind of like games that are a little bit more harder because they teach me something. They teach me how to better play the game, how to better access things, how to quote unquote get good. So I think that may be a major gripe with some people, but honestly, it didn't bother me. But if you're someone who gets repeatedly frustrated when you die so many times, this may frustrate you just a little bit, because like I said, this is a little bit unforgiving, as most games were back in the day. I think we take for granted how hard games used to be and how easy games are right now, but I think this definitely, like I said, takes me back to the old school gaming where things were just hard and you just had to figure it out. Like I said, get good, noob. But overall, Kraino Origins brought me back to the early days of gaming. This ran great on the Switch. I had no discernible issues on this, no frame dips, no issues at all, and I enjoyed it the entire time I played it. I'm looking forward for more from Game Atomic in the future. But let me know, did you play Kraino Origins yet? If not, what are you doing? It's a fun game, and it is available on the eShop right now for $11.99. It is a great price, so pick this up when you get the opportunity to do so. And when you do, let me know, and let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, listening to all the things that I'm putting out. It is so much fun doing these reviews and playing all these different games to see just the breadth, the depth, and the width and the scope of all these games that are coming out so frequently. So it's fun to cover these types of games. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. My name is Chike, and I will see you next time. Bye.